International Poznań.
Witajcie serdecznie, tutaj Maciek Kautz. Cieszę się, że znowu mogę być z wami w MC Radiu, bo choć godnie mnie reprezentują Max Kruk i Piotr Schulz, to bardzo jest miło po prostu być tutaj na 102.7. This is MC Radio. And there's some Polish and there's some English. Sometimes there even can be some German, because actually German is quite a popular language in this region of Poland. Hallo, wie geht's, Jens?
Guten Morgen, gut.
Also, ich bin wirklich zufrieden, dass du heute hier mit uns bist. Vielen Dank. I just wanted to say that I'm really happy and that it really means a lot to me.
Okay.
What is the feeling for you? Because I believe that this is the first time you're in a radio studio in Poznan.
Yes, it's the first time that I'm in a radio studio at all. So it's not the first time that I'm...
Not just in Poland, but
not
actually.
just in Poland, but it's the first time I'm in a radio studio. And it's an interesting feeling. It's interesting to see you guys whistling around and organizing everything.
There's a lot going on.
Normally, some people just stick a microphone in front of my face, and now you see what is all around it to make a studio interview like this. So it's quite a lot more.
Not just two quality and high quality microphones, but then there's also lighting. There's cameras, because you can see us on Facebook, on YouTube, because you see that, online media and social media are getting stronger, and you really need to be present there. Do you have that feeling?
We have that feeling, and I know this also from the company side. The Facebook, you actually have to be on, and privately, to be honest, I'm trying to stick out of it, but that's my private issue. But for the company, we have to be on it, and there's so much communication going on, the media, the internet media, that without that, it doesn't work. And you have to get used to the speed of how things are informed.
Normally, and that is different than it was in the 90s, for example.
For sure.
Dzisiaj świat przyspieszył, to jest nieporównywalne. A ja chciałem powiedzieć, że ze mną w studiu jest prezes Volkswagen Poznan, the CEO of Volkswagen Poznan, which is not just Poznań Antoninek, but also Września, where the big cars come from. He is also the member of board in commercial vehicles in Hanover, so the heart of Volkswagen, if I may call it this way.
Volkswagen commercial vehicles.
Yes, because the heart of Volkswagen
is in Wolfsburg.
In Wolfsburg, yes. There is a lot of different parts of your company. But then commercial vehicles, such like Caddy, for example, those are really in your heart.
Well, yes. The commercial business is something totally different to the passenger car business.
Mówimy tutaj o samochodach użytkowych jako innych od samochodów osobowych, którymi my jeździmy na co dzień.
We have two totally different customers. Passenger cars have to be sexy.
Tak.
They have to look nice. People have emotions with them. Commercial vehicles?
Not necessarily.
Not necessary. A lot of people who buy these cars don't drive them themselves. So they want to look onto the costs.
Yeah.
And that's what they need. They need
maybe
an
if they
efficient car.
Maybe if they bought cars for themselves, they would try for
They look totally different onto what they buy.
W przypadku samochodów użytkowych jest jeszcze to, że ten, kto kupuje, niekoniecznie będzie je użytkował, niekoniecznie będzie z nich korzystał, więc tak bardzo nie jest dla niego ważne, czy one są sexy, tylko bardziej jest ważne to, czy dobrze wypadają w kosztach, czy są opłacalne. So like the economical side of it is more important.
That is much more important, and
you know about it.
We hope we know and we understand the business of our customers, but of course, one factor, total cost of ownership, is for us a very important issue that we always look onto. What does the car cost the new buyer if he runs it in his daily business? And we really try to deeply understand the business models of our customers, and they get so differentiated in spread that it's very interesting to look into it. And what is also interesting, what we do is we take our management and put them on the co-driver seat, not on the driver's seat. and get some customers to drive.
Really? You do that?
Yes, we do that. And
Słuchajcie,
our
proszą
customers
swoich
drive.
menedżerów zarządzających, żeby usiedli z jakimś konsumentem, czyli tym, kto będzie siedział w tym samochodzie, ale obok. So they are not at the steering wheel. Oni nie są przy kierownicy.
No, they actually, sorry for using these words, but they have to sit on the co-driver's seat and to listen to what the customer wants. And to try to understand his needs, because he's the guy who's later on going to drive this, and we have to go and satisfy our customer needs and not to satisfy ourselves. This is something really which is different to the passenger car side.
So that's a big difference. Is there also a big difference between 2006, 2010, which was the first time when you were here in Poznan to work for Volkswagen, and now? Is there a big difference because you haven't been here?
There's a huge difference. Oh. And actually, the first time I came to Poznan was 2005.
Oh, wow. So that's 13 years ago.
13 years ago. And if you look at Poznan today, it changed tremendously. I remember the only hotel you could book when I came 2005 or 2006, when I came finally here, was Novotel Center.
So that was
and
all
there
of
was
it.
only the old brewery, the old part in the front. That was all. There was no Andersia, there was no other hotel there.
And the old brewery did not have the big board
The old
yet.
brewery did not have the old part of it. And you had massively Fiat Polska on the road and all these old cars. And if I look into, especially being out of the car business, if I look onto the road now, you see Bentleys, you see Porsche, you see new cars.
So Polish people...
The picture completely changed.
Yeah, so the people in here are also more wealthy, which could be a good sign?
Yes, I believe they are more wealthy. They've got more jobs. I mean, the unemployment rate in Poznan is very, very low.
Almost non-existent.
Non-existent.
Prawie nie mamy bezrobocia tutaj w Poznaniu. Czyli ogromna firma, wielki, jeden z największych pracodawców. It really is even hard to tell how many people you employ.
No, it's not hard. It's a little bit over 11,000.
A little bit over 11,000. And you know, speaking of unemployment and the fact that it's rather hard nowadays to find an employee, dzisiaj jest dość trudno znaleźć pracownika, you probably operate in a high-risk business, or at least you have hard time finding the right people. Do you?
It did get more complicated. It did get really more complicated finding the right people. But we still managed to run the third shift in Września. We are running a 3-shift system.
Mówimy o nowej fabryce we Wrześni i o tym, że są tam 3 zmiany, czy praca na 3 zmiany. So you actually work the whole 24 hours.
We work 24 hours from Monday in the morning until Saturday evening in Poznan.
And Sunday is the only day when...
In Września also Saturday is off because the volume is still going. But yes, we're running around the clock.
And so you probably are going to say that it's hard because of how many people you need to actually find them.
We need about 4 to 5 people for one working place to find the right people. They go through an assessment because what you should not forget, please, is that we put a lot of education afterwards. Mm-hmm. If we employed the people,
wykształcenie pracownika jest bardzo ważne.
Training courses and they need a lot of education until they reach the level we need. Because
so it's not easy actually to, find somebody on Półwieska Street and say like, hey, you want to go and work for Volkswagen Poznan? It's not like that.
No, it's really not like that, because what you have to understand is that every car which is running over our production line is actually different. Mm-hmm. We have a variety of 500 different possibilities where you can put your car together. And this means that actually every day we don't build 2 cars which are exactly similar.
Really? I thought it was like a company, like a big factory where you would have millions of them.
No, we're not baking buns. We're not baking buns, but we are really... Every car, the customer has put something different inside it. So there is some routine to the work that people have. But on the other side, they have to understand each time the car goes past them what do I have to build into this car? Otherwise, we have a lot of mess at the end.
So you want to educate your people, and for that reason, you already cooperate with schools, right?
We cooperate with schools. Actually, we start right in the beginning. We have this Lego set we give to schools, Mindstorm, where the kids can start programming. And
At what age?
Age of 10, 11.
Mają 10 lat, a Volkswagen Poznań mówi, hey, mam dla ciebie Lego. So, and you hope that those Lego young kids would later on be potentially your employees?
Yes, at least make them attractive for technical things. But then we also work together with the University of Poznan and with the school in Swarzędz, where we do vocational training for the people. We've got 5 different jobs where we train the people on.
Czyli takie przystosowanie zawodowe.
So in total we have around 300 people who are in vocational training.
Every school year.
Not every school year, 300 in total. It goes over 3 years, so every school year around about 100 people that we have. And in total we have 300 vocational training people. And the nice thing is that up to now, all of them, when they finished the vocational training, we could offer them a job and they could stay with us. So this is a lot of training we put into the people, but we also have our benefits afterwards from it.
Do you look for people differently than you would in the early 2000s? Like the process, is it different?
If you look onto the IT side, maybe yes, because we look onto the languages, what programming language do they have.
Jeśli chodzi o informatyków, to tutaj inaczej szukamy rzeczywiście.
But on the other side, for people in the production line, we look in the same way like we did in the past.
And it really makes sense to start to teach them as early as possible.
Programming language?
No, I mean
to teach them our
the
people
vocational training.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense because, we have specialized jobs like mechatronics. We have car electric. Today, I don't know what is more in the car, more electricity, more programming, or more engine. And everything is today controlled through PCs in the engine. So today, it's not anymore just going onto the car and playing around a little bit and changing things. You have to know what's going on in the electric, and you have to understand what is happening inside the car. So this needs a lot of training for the people, and it's totally different than it was 10 years, 15 years ago.
I can imagine. And I wanted to ask you if you are sometimes not afraid. You are the CEO of Volkswagen Poznan, but you're also the user, the end user of a car, possibly just a private car. And are you not sometimes afraid that there's too much electronics in it? That one day we will not be able to repair any single thing in a car without going to the authorized service because this is just something too complicated. Dzisiaj samochody naszpikowane elektroniką.
Very honestly,
tell me.
I cannot repair a lot of things on our car because I'm not able to run the programs. Yeah. It is like that. I mean, It's
all about the programs now.
It's all about the
IT.
programs, and it's all about IT. And there's a lot of things that when I went through vocational training, I could still repair by myself. But today, I stand in front of the car and it breaks together. I have to call somebody because I'm not able to repair it myself. It
Do you remember
work.
the last time when you actually have been successful in repairing something, or maybe at least replacing something? Może chociaż coś wymieniłeś w samochodzie samemu?
Do you accept a light bulb that I replaced?
So that's the most of it.
No.
Wymiana żarówki?
There are things, of course, at home that I can do by myself, but
less and less.
Less and less. It really gets less and less because you don't have the knowledge about this special program. But I tell you what, I bought the Lego case, and we're going over Christmas. We're going over Christmas with 2 children onto holidays. They are not mine; they are from a friend of ours, and the boy is 11. And what does an 11-year-old boy like to do? He likes to play on the computer. And I'm going to try to convince him not to play on the computer, but to program the thing with a Lego. So his mother already told me, if you are successful, I'm going to pay you a bottle of wine.
Because my son is going to be so successful in the future.
But maybe, I don't know if he's going to be successful in the future, but it will take him away from the computer playing games instead of doing something himself. So, yeah, I'll see. I'll let you know if I was successful or not.
That would be nice. I mean, I know you're a grandfather and you have a granddaughter now who's really young, and she will soon grow up in this modernized world with so much electronics around. What do you think are the prospects for her? Do you try to already think of how you want to raise her and how it is different than when you were raised?
There's a lot to it, what you said. And actually, I write to her a letter every birthday. Every birthday I sit down.
Co roku piszę list do wnuczki.
Write a letter to Marie. She's now 2.5, so I have 2 letters lying in the safe, which she will get when she's 18.
Oh, so you would wait until
she doesn't get them. Her
18.
mother doesn't. Her mother knows that I write the letters, but she also doesn't get to see them. And why am I doing this? The world is changing at the moment in a speed which is tremendous. And if you think, okay, she's now 2.5, she will be 3 in middle of next year. What will the world look like when she's 18? Will she still need a driver's license? I'm not sure.
Me neither. Nie wiem, czy jeszcze będziemy korzystali z prawa jazdy za tych 16 lat.
Sure, if she will need a driver's license. And what jobs will there be?
Yeah.
The job scene is at the moment completely changing. So how should she be?
And it's changing faster than ever.
Faster than ever. And young people get blogger. There was a young girl, 11 years old, who told me she wants to be a blogger. I looked at her and I said, what do you want to be, a blogger? What's that?
Is there even a job? Is it even a job?
Is that a job? Can you earn money?
Beruf?
Can you earn money with
Unglaublich.
that? So, and also, what languages should she learn? Of course, English she should learn, but maybe if you look at what's happening in China and how they are spreading, maybe it's better to learn Chinese instead of French.
You're right.
And
you might be right.
The third thing that's going through my mind is, how do I start teaching her on digitalization?
Sure. I know that if it's taken us quite some time, actually, you know, there are those arrangements, and you're such a busy person. You are the CEO of Volkswagen Poznan. Pan zarządza 11,000 ludzi w pewnym sensie. I mean, you oversee 11,000 people to some degree, right?
To some degree.
So you probably don't sleep at all, do you?
No, I do sleep. I have a lot of people in the management who take a lot of this job to organize things and to do it. And from my point of view, I have a great team where I can really rely on. And it's a lot of fun working with these people together.
I can imagine that. Tell me, please, we've been talking about your granddaughter and how it is possible that when she grows up, because she's, 2 years old now?
2.5.
2.5. Wnuczka pana prezesa ma 2,5, and we think of what can happen to her and also about the jobs that will no longer exist because so many of professions disappear. Some people say that actually accountants will soon possibly be gone, że niebawem nie będziemy mieli księgowych, bo to wszystko zrobią aplikacje. You know, there's these bots, like you don't even need a seller or an assistant because somebody will talk to that bot and the bot will reply. Mamy boty, które będą coraz bardziej inteligentne. You have machine learning. Maszyny się uczą and they become dangerously smart. So what is your feeling and like what's your idea of what can be useful in the future for her? Maybe a blogger.
Maybe a blogger. I will have to get used to that thought of her being a blogger. But you know that I don't have a clear picture of that. What you mentioned with the bots, that's true. At the moment, in the past, we looked at the automation on the production lines. We did a lot of automation. We put in robots. We did a lot of this stuff. But now all of a sudden the automation is also going into the offices, like you said, with bots.
We would never think that the people who work so much with their minds, and we call them white collar workers, will probably also not be so useful anymore. Nawet prace te umysłowe powoli zanikają.
Every person is useful. I wouldn't say they're not useful anymore.
I know it's so hard to tell.
The thing is that we are today, with the digitalization and the artificial intelligence, we are possible to take away the routine work from the people.
Te rzeczy takie przyziemne, to będziemy w stanie sprawić, że nie będą tego ludzie musieli wykonywać, czyli będzie im lżej. So this will probably be gone. And what else will happen?
Things will change on areas where today we don't think about. Let's talk about a blogger. Or an influencer? What are they doing? They are now doing advertisement. They are now changing things.
Influencers, as young as 12 years old, are more influential than some celebrities.
Yes, if you see how many followers they have, and these children where I'm on holiday with, they also look at these influencers and what they bring up daily. They have to do every day on Facebook a new small film that they have to send up. This is a complete new business which is growing up there. And if you think about what's going on with Amazon Alexa, you can order things by just talking to a machine at home.
That's true.
And this will change completely advertisement industry.
If I may just explain what Alexa is, it is a little bit like a speaker. It looks like a box.
It's a loudspeaker.
Tak, to jest, słuchajcie, głośnik, który kładziecie gdzieś w domu i rozmawiacie z nim. Mówicie, Alexa, a zamów mi książkę na temat marketingu. And so you tell her, I would like a book on marketing. And she will probably reply, but like, what type of marketing? Do you want this or that? And should I order it for you?
She will ask questions, and finally she will ask if she should order it.
Yeah.
So you don't need to
it's already happening.
It's already happening. And I don't know how much you will need a keyboard like you have lying in front of you in the future. Maybe we will only be communicating with computers by talking to them. So the world is changing at the moment in a tremendous speed, and I can only try to guide my grandchild and to try to give her the right education, to send her to the right schools, and try to pick the best from my current point of view. Hopefully that all the things that change will be catched up by her, and we'll see what kind of job she will do when she's 80.
I wanted to ask about Września, because this is such a big event for Poland. Fabryka we Wrześni ma znaczenie nie tylko dla Wielkopolski, ale w ogóle dla kraju. What we know for sure is that it really changed so much for the region, right? And that probably there were other countries on the list. Prawdopodobnie do ostatniej chwili ważyło się, w którym miejscu ta fabryka powstanie.
Actually, when I went back 2010, this is one of my tasks to get the car going in Germany and to handle the whole process of choosing the country we're going into and to which town we went. And this is a long process in the Volkswagen Group where we have to go through different procedures to find the right country, and they have to report to the group board of directors. And it was interesting. It was really one of my greatest jobs to do, because this is a one-in-a-lifetime chance you have to build a factory like this.
And to really be a part of a huge change, and to have your influence over something that will affect so many people's lives.
Yeah, and actually it was a very hard time. We worked really hard. But because we had so much fun working together, and the people were all knowing what they were doing, that they were building something completely new which will change the region. Like my body shop manager, he knew he was building a body shop with a flexibility there is nowhere else in Europe. My paint shop manager knew he was building the biggest paint shop in Europe at the moment.
And paint shop in Polish, that would be...
Lakiernia.
Lakiernia. And body shop is...
Spawalnia.
Spawalnia. Thank you so much. So my wonderful German guest will teach me some Polish or some English Polish. Thank you for that.
But I didn't have to give the people a vision. It's modern now to say every company needs a mission and a vision and all this kind of stuff. Those people, I didn't have to give a vision. I had to tell them that we're going to build a cathedral, and they all build their own cathedral. So we had so much fun with each other, although it was working more than 12 hours per day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and it changed the whole area around Brezhnev. There are some suppliers who also moved into the region. So I think we had a big impact onto it. And it will be one of my nicest steps in my career, having built up the factory.
Have you been a lobbyist in the Polish favor? Czy lobbowałeś na rzecz lokalizacji w Polsce?
If you've been working 4 years before here, of course I was
How can
a
you
lobbyist.
not? Yeah.
There was actually a scene where we were discussing whether we should go to Turkey or to Poland. And of course it was a big discussion where I tried to move to Poland. And today everybody is happy that we didn't go to Turkey, that we stayed in Poland on the whole thing.
Was there a moment when you had a feeling that you were almost losing it? That
yes,
things are not going the right direction?
There were moments also when we were in the construction time, when we started building up this thing. You always, if you're responsible for this kind of job, you're always on a roller coaster. You have days where you say, wow, great, and it's all happening. And then you have days where you get negative messages from people and you have to try to pull them with you that they don't give up. And it's a roller coaster ride. And sometimes you even got a loop inside the roller coaster. But in the end, if you see the smile on the faces of the people, you know what you're doing it for.
I imagine that. That must be quite remarkable, and it must be quite a joy for you to actually see this all happen. So, a Poznan guy, after all?
Well, being here for more than 10 years now, yes.
I can imagine that. Now, we've just been talking about how you have tried and how you really tried to have the factory in Września, and how that was successful, and also how it was a roller coaster when there were moments of joy, but also of some real sadness. Now there's been 25 years of Volkswagen Poznan history, and I feel like it is just incredible to say that you've built 3 million cars almost. 3 million cars.
3 million cars.
3 miliony samochodów użytkowych. So that's a huge number, right? And it probably makes everybody proud.
Yes.
In Brześnia and in Antoninek.
Yes, it makes everybody proud, and I'm also working for VW now more than 30 years. And of course, if you see the cars on the road, it still makes you happy, but it's more interesting and seeing the new employees, young people who see our cars now on the street. When I'm together with them, they say, "Oh, look at there, the new Crafter's on the road."
The one from Brześnia.
The one from Brześnia. So there's a lot of enthusiasm where you say, okay, this is a new car we brought out, and it makes you happy. And if you see a train leaving Poland on the rails with, 24 wagons full of our cars, and you see them driving over the bridge when you drive underneath it, it's a nice feeling of seeing, okay, this is all our work moving out to our customers.
25 lat Volkswagen Poznań. Na początku 67 pracowników, dzisiaj 11 000. 67 employees, if I am not mistaken, at the very beginning.
We began with, 67 employees. We began with as a SKD, a semi-knockdown assembly, where we brought cars into the country and reassembled the wheels and the fuel tank, and then sold them here. And then finally in 2000, Volkswagen made the decision to bring the Caddy, which was a complete new car at that time. And this was actually the goal at that time for Volkswagen Poznan to become a real automotive factory. And then the road went on and going up.
When you would tell people about your vision, about Volkswagen being so strong here in Wielkopolska, but when you would tell people from abroad about it, like in the western part of our continent, for example, did you see any eyebrows raising? Czy ludzie unosili brwi I mówili, it cannot work? Was there some...
Sure. Yes, there were a lot of people being skeptical and do we have the right employees? Do we have enough educated people there? And there was some discussion of convincing people to say we go there. And but it still amazes me. Okay, I'm living in Poland now over 10 years, but sometimes we have visitors who come here who have a complete different picture of Poland. And I just had an expert coming over here where he was telling his family, I'm going to Poland, and they said, oh, well, take care that you find a good apartment and something like this. So they're all skeptical of, where is he moving?
They were like, Jens, will you be safe there?
Will you be safe there? And then the guy...
Do you need a bodyguard?
Bodyguard or something like that. But the guy took some pictures and sent them home and said, hey, this is my new apartment, which looks much better than where he was living in Germany. So there's a picture of the people... There's still a lot of work to make people understand how nice Poland is. And you can see it on the tourist industry. It's getting a little bit more, but more the older people going to Poland in old memories. But the younger people...
Still not convinced.
Still not convinced. That's actually a pity because they're very nice places here.
But we already do have an ambassador, don't we?
Yes.
Which city are you originally from?
From Hanover. That's the main city. Actually, I'm living in a suburb called Wunstorf, a small town with only 25,000 people, so very relaxed.
What's your favorite expression in Polish?
Now you ask me something complicated.
Or maybe the most useful one.
The most useful one is dziękuję.
Thank you so very much for everything. Dankeschön.
Bitteschön.
It has
Dziękuję
been my
bardzo.
pleasure. Dziękujemy.